Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Los here. We back on the throne of positivity, where the first is last and the last is first. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Thank you to everybody who supports the ministry. This is a viewer-supported ministry. I thank you all for making the sacrifice that you have. You know, shout out to the people that send $1, $5, because I know that those people think that they're not doing much, or they may think like, oh, this is just this much. But listen, it's not the amount. The very fact that you sacrifice in that way, to me, is like, it means the world that you would even consider me in that way. So I just want to thank you, because I know that whoever you are, wherever you are, the fact that you would even give in that type of fashion, it's incredible. So I just want to say thank you and understand that there's nothing that is too small. God sees your heart behind it all. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and recognize that I know what's your sacrifice. Living on faith, you might as well say $1 is $1,000 and $5 is 5,000 or whatever, because when you don't know where it's coming from, everything is like a drop of rain in the desert. So thank you so much. If you would like to consider supporting, there's links in the description below. I truly appreciate you guys. So today I want to talk about the decision that I have made in regard to getting off of social media. I'm on a very specific and personal journey with the Lord that I think is going to be extremely beneficial to everyone. And if I can give you a lens on what's happening, there's only maturity that can come from this. And what I am attempting to do is what I feel like nobody wants to do, myself included. And what I am trying to do is, with the Lord, strip myself completely bare before God of all motives, of all desires, of all goals, ambitions, everything. And I'm trying to scrutinize myself to the utmost degree to see what is found within my soul. I'm trying to go beyond everything and get to the root of who I am in Christ. Almost a deconstruction in a way, where I'm removing everything. Everything is just going to be put on the table before the Lord, and we're going to go piece by piece, bit by bit. Lord, is this of you? Is this not of you? If it is, then let's go. If it's not, let's throw it away. But not just in that sense. I want to be so crucial. I want to be so powerful with it that I'm not just, let's take this off the table. Let's just go straight into the fire. Let's dive all the way deep into the abyss of my darkness within myself. What will remain? And the approach that I'm trying to take is what is known in Greek philosophy as a cynic's approach. The cynical mentality is, it sounds counterintuitive, but I really want to take myself to that level. A cynic's mentality is that you question everybody's motive and you think that everybody is doing things out of self-interest. Now, I don't recommend that you take this life perspective, but for me, I'm not going to be cynical in the sense of trying to measure everybody else's motives and then like, oh, you're just doing that for self-interest. No, I'm going to take that approach and boom, let's stand in the mirror and let's see what's really good within you. Because Jesus says there's no one good. Why do you call me good? Only the Father is good. So I want to take this interesting approach where, you know, the book of Job, right? You've probably read his story. I don't know what you guys get from it. Have you ever read it? If you haven't, please read it, especially if you're suffering. I've been reading it again. This is one of my favorite books in the Bible. It's hard to read because it's very poetic language, but if you can do it, it's worth it. And there's this approach that I'm trying to take with myself, and it's simply this. I'm trying to find the Job within myself. Job is called the most blameless man on the earth at that time. Those are not my words. Those are the words of the Bible. And then ultimately at the end, God decrees his judgment over Job and his situation and says the same, that Job was blameless after all. So what I'm trying to do is, in the uncut, raw substance of my soul, present myself to God in these trials and tribulations and turn the fire up 7 times. And in the unique perspective that I'm talking about is I'm trying to find the Job within myself while also being the 3 friends of Job. Because although the 3 friends of Job, they were rebuked ultimately at the end, what they are saying is still useful. And their corrective nature, although Job says, you guys talk and you have no substance. You don't even provide anything of value to me. You're not even helping me in any way. He's saying that in the moment, but I think it is helpful because what it is doing is, as they are resisting Job, Job is resisting back. And what that resistance is doing is producing perseverance in Job to say that I am not letting go of my case. I will bring it before God and he will answer for me. And there's this wrestling that happens, and by the resistance that's occurring between this dialogue between all of them, his roots are getting deeper and deeper in God. So I want to be the 3 friends in the sense that I want to antagonize myself in the presence of God so that whoever the Job is within me that God has created, that may manifest, that may be deeply rooted, and the 3 that are not, that do not belong, that will be rebuked, they can flee. They won't remain, right? So I want to take those characteristics and I want to antagonize myself, even to the point of being Job's wife to myself. And I know this sounds crazy and extreme, but this is just the depth that I want to take it to. I want to even tell myself, why don't you just give up? Right? Why don't you just quit? We need to even get to that level. And I have done this for several months, but now I'm going to be serious with it. I'm going to take it to the utmost extreme that I have not considered before. And I need to answer back. I need to provide an answer. The way that Job was providing a defense and saying, this is why I don't give up. I know that I'm blameless before the Lord. I know that God is righteous. He is the judge of all the earth. This is what's happening. And although I see injustice, and he's contending with God, he makes a lot of remarks that you're like, whoa, can a blameless man truly say this about God? Well, the answer is yes. Because I believe that the book of Job demonstrates what true relationship with God looks like, what the real Christian walk looks like, what nobody else is portraying in the church. It's this dynamic struggle, almost antagonistic relationship with God. And I know that sounds crazy because you're going to be like, why would you antagonize God? Well, it's not so much in the sense of antagonizing God, but it's in the sense that if you bring before God your complaint, you are essentially telling God, I trust you to resolve my complaint. That's why these sayings that are almost distasteful when you initially hear them from Job, you come to the conclusion and you're like, wait, God, how can you say this man is blameless? Well, because God saw the heart of Job. And although he blamed God, he knew that when God finally answered him and said, where were you when I created the earth? Where were you when I set a limit for the waters that it may not overtake the land? Where were you when I set the stars in place and commanded the sun to rise and the moon to stand in its place? He knew ultimately that Job would declare, wretched man that I be. Cursed be the day that I was born and my mother's womb opened, that my darkness may see the light of day. Not even in Sheol, he says, will I find hope. Not even if my head goes down to the grave will I find comfort. Like, God ultimately knew that Job wasn't bringing these things to him for the sake of being like, oh, well, and what, God? It wasn't the way the wicked set themselves up against God. Because here's the thing that you have to consider. When you look at Jacob, right? Jacob was in an antagonistic role against the angel of the Lord. He was the opponent of the angel of the Lord, and they wrestled. And Jacob wrestled, and he wrestled, and he wrestled. What was the result of that wrestling? Intimacy with God. And an old man was defeated that day and a new man was born. That's what I'm trying to find in this journey, this self-seeking of the Lord and being antagonistic in that way. And I want to even go deeper of what I'm doing in a second to show you how cynical I'm truly being. But the beauty of what's happening here with Jacob is that Jacob was unrelenting. It's so incredible to me when I finally realized that even after his hip was out of socket, Jacob said, I will not let you go until you bless me. In the hardest part of the fight, the moment of which all would concede defeat, Jacob dug his feet even more to the ground, all pun intended. He put his hip into that thing, even though his hip was out of socket, and said, I'm not letting you go until you bless me. And I need to find that within myself again. I need to find that my relationship with God is true, and that I'm not doing this for the sake of blessing. I need to ensure that my motives are true. I need to ensure that, God, it's you, and it always has been you, Lord. I need to find myself in that way and question everything. And that's where I find myself now. Yesterday, I went to a concert to Christine Di Clario. She came to San Diego. Amazing woman of God, and her concert was awesome. It was beautiful. She's actually, fun fact, she's actually the first Christian concert I ever went to. I believe it was in 2015. Her and Barack went to Orlando, and I saw them, and that was a transforming experience. But yesterday I was there, and just to show you the depth of where I'm taking this, I went alone, and like a couple hours before going, I just started feeling hopeless, man. And I'm trying to find my footing. I'm trying to find my grounding with the Lord. And I'm just like, why am I going here, right? Like, I'm trying to find something. Lord, ignite this fire, ignite this passion. Like, help me relinquish control or relinquish myself to you. What is my motive in going here? Am I seeking the blessing? Am I seeking you? Like, what is the essence and the substance of what I'm doing? And I was there, and, you know, obviously concerts take a while to set up. So I was there, and they didn't start until like 20, 30 minutes after. And I'm looking at the faces. I was just enthralled by the people there. And I'm like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I'm like, man, do I even care about a single person in this place? What are my motives? Like, why? I'm here alone, right? But even in the sense of being here alone, do I truly care about these people? Now, this doesn't make sense to you because it's like you just don't know what's my personal situation or what has happened to me in the past for me to even say something like that. But of course I care, but not to the depth of who I was before, man. And things have happened to the point where I'm afraid to give my heart to people, man. And I'm looking into the faces of all these people. I'm observing like the details of every person's face. And I'm like, do I really care about you? And I felt so numb in that place that I was trying to find, why would I care for these people? And I know this sounds crazy, but the reason why I did it is because I'm the type of person, if you know me, if you know how I am in church or the way that I am with people, I give myself with no reservation, bro. I love with all abandon, and I have never felt the need to reserve myself in any single type of way. When I worship, I give it all. I dance before the Lord in what I imagine the way that David danced. And I've been hurt, bro, and I'm trying to deal with that pain of having been hurt and find within myself, can I give my heart again? Because if I can't, then I can't say that I love God. What is my motive? How can I say that I love God, but I don't love his people? This is what allowed me to give that abandon, to give myself without reservation, to throw myself and hug and embrace and kiss and love people. You know what I mean? It's because God loves people, therefore I must love people. And I was trying to find myself yesterday, and I'm just there, and I'm seeing everybody with their families, and they're smiling, and, couples, and, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, they there. And I'm just like, man, I feel so alone, bro. I feel so alone. Like, how come I can't have that? Why am I not able to have this love, bro? Like, why can't I have this community? Why can't I have my wife with me? Like, all these things. And I'm trying to find the motive of who I am. And I was there, I kept trying to find it. Like, help me find the love for these people, God, because I can't find it. I feel like as I dove into the abyss of who I am, I'm trying to grab at something to hold on to it. And what is permanent and what is eternal of God that glorifies him, I can grab and I can hold on to it. But what is temporal and what is a motive that is selfish, if I grab at it, it's like a loose brick. It'll come out and I'll fall deeper into the abyss. And that's what I'm trying to find within myself. And as I was there, I felt like I kept grabbing at loose bricks, and I'm not finding the motive that is truly based in God. And ultimately, it wasn't self-seeking. And I was hurt, bro. I'm like, I was hurt. And I was sitting at the front, and then I'm like, yo, I don't want to sit here no more. I went to the back, and I'm just like, bro, I need to be by myself, which is crazy to me because that's not who I am in the church, bro. Like, that's not me, man. Like, it's not me, bro. And I'm sitting in the back, and the music starts playing, and it's starting, and I'm trying to get in, and I'm just there, like, I'm trying to get into it, but I don't feel a thing, bro, and I'm just numb. And again, if you know me in church, like, yo, I'm the type of person that the way that I express myself is with all passion, with all love, and with all fire, man. And I dance, and the reason why I dance is because I can't sing. You don't want to hear me sing. Like, I dance because I want to inspire the people. I see worship as spiritual warfare. And if I can inspire the other people to stop being standing poles and actually get into it and worship the Lord, then I feel like I'm raising up an army for God. Every time that I worship in that way, I feel like I'm raising up soldiers, men and women of God that's willing to fight for he who fought for us. And I'm there, and I'm like, I don't feel nothing in me. I don't feel anything, man. And I'm trying to praise, and I'm trying to worship. And I want to connect with God in the way that I once did, man. And all I could feel is the pain in my heart, the hesitation, whatever's detaining me. I felt imprisoned, bro. And I'm just like, yo, what is going on with me? And if I can't overcome this, I can't say that I'm a man of God. If I can't overcome this and find my depth in the Lord and my foundation in him and the things to grab on that are eternal, then I cannot say that I'm a man of God. I'm trying to find my motive beyond the convenient, beyond the conditional. And this is something that we have to recognize. All of our relationships and love, even in relation to God and all his creation, is conditional. There's no way to be without condition. So anybody who says that they do things without motive and without intent is just it's a lie. And where I'm trying to get to is a place that is impossible to get to. I know that I can't, but I'm trying to strip myself from all motive and intention. I'm trying to find God without saying that it is the blessing. Like, if you do this, then I'll do that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you look at almost all examples of interactions with God in the Bible, they're all conditional. That's what a covenant is. It's conditions. If you do this, this will happen. And the reason God approaches in that way is not to negate us in the sense like, oh, you should be without motive and without intent. The reason why God goes to us in that way is because he understands that we are conditional. You know what I mean? So it's not trying to find ourselves the way that I am trying to do without motive and without intent. Is that even in the face of condition and intent, can you still do it with a whole heart, pure and undefiled before the Lord? And just to give you an example that this is true, and I'm not just making this up, listen to what Jacob says in the 28th chapter of Genesis, verse 20. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way, that I go and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. Wait, hold up. What you talking about, Jacob? You saying that if God doesn't do this, then he's not going to be your God? That's kind of the implication. There's conditions there. If you do this, Father, if you do this, God, then you will be my God. This is what most people don't understand and they don't pay attention to. Is like, at this point, Jacob doesn't see God as his actual God until this chapter and this verse. And he's telling God, if you do this, then you will be my God, because I will know that you are God. You were the God of Isaac, my father, and Abraham, my grandfather, but you are not my God yet. But if you will be with me, if you will clothe me, if you will go with me, then you will be the Lord my God. So that's what I'm trying to get to, is like, I understand God is my God and he's met all conditions in my life previously. But I'm trying to answer the ultimate question, strip everything away, that even if not, can he still be my God? Even if God still doesn't do it for me, can he still be my God? That's the question that I'm trying to answer. And so deep, so serious is the question that I'm asking this, that I find myself wasting away, bro. Because I'm like, yo, I'm trying to find that and I'm not finding it. But my faith and my hope is that he who seeks will find, he who asks will receive, and he who knocks on the door, it will be open to him. For our God is just, and he knows my heart, and I'm bearing it before him, because I'm like, Lord, what is within me? Strip me bare, my unformed substance be before you, that you may rebuild me how you want. The motives that I have, the intentions that I have, you know them. Not that I may be without them, but that they will be holy and undefiled before you, knowing that you are the God of my life and there is no other. And even if you don't do it, I will still serve you. Because any of us could say we love God, but do you love God when it doesn't go your way? Do you love God? Do you love God if you lose a child? There's a powerful couple that I used to connect with so strongly in my old church in Florida. They lost their 16-year-old boy, and they said that their relationship with God increased to the infinite power the years after that than before that. That couple is so powerful, and they still serve God even still in the face of that. Can we still do that? If I lose the blessing, can I still serve God? It's easy to say that I'll do this, that, and the third when things are going my way. But can I serve God when there's no reason to serve God? Can I still serve God if the answer is no? If the answer no is so strong that it goes against your entire existence, when it goes against all your being, can you serve God when you were at the top of the world and now you are at the bottom? Can you serve God when you depend on him for every crumb and every morsel of bread? Can you serve God if he took everything away from you? I'm trying to get to the place of Job. I ask that you guys pray for me because what I'm going through, man, is deep. But I know that God is faithful, and I have faith that the Lord, at the other side of this, I will finally be as Job and understand the blessing isn't the blessing. God is the blessing. And not even just that, but where Job in the beginning, it talks about his religious practice. I don't know if you pay attention to this or if you notice this, but it talks about how he makes sacrifice in the case of his children sinning against God or whatever. He's doing religious practice there. Or it's not so clear if his heart is truly all the way in it. It's made a little bit more clear his motive and intention that it is after he loses them, because he said God gives and God takes away. But even though you declare that, he still has to go through all the trials and tribulations, all the contending with his friends to finally reach the end when God answers him. And he says, I knew you by ear, O God. I knew your name, but now my eyes see you, O Lord. What if seeing God face to face takes the total and utter destruction of yourself? Are we willing to go through these trials? I'm facing these trials either way. So I want to surrender totally and utterly, in the sense of jumping out of a plane without a parachute. Will the angels of the Lord prop me up? Will they deliver me so that my foot may not strike against a stone? This is what I'm trying to do. And this is the journey that I'm trying to undertake, away from social media, away from the eyes of everybody, so that when I finally come to and I return to social media, I'll come with a purpose. And I pray that in the day that I return, that my message will be clear and uncut, that it will be raw and unfiltered, but it will be graceful, kind, and patient, that we would cause people to mature. And I pray that my heart will be healed, that I can trust people again with my heart, and recognize that I'm no good thing. I'm not made of gold and shining armor. Who am I? I'm nothing. I'm no one. I'm dust of the earth. I'm the very thing that you sweep off the floor and then you throw it in the garbage anyways. That's who I am. I'm nothing before God. Or if a man think he's something, what did he receive that did not come from God? I'm nobody. I want to recognize that even further, considering everybody greater than myself. I want to love to the depth of where I once was. I want that explanation of the gospel, the way that John declares it, that if we don't love the visible, how can we love the invisible? It does not make sense. I want to cut through all the nonsense and the noise and the selfish ambition as much as possible, because we can't become totally unmotivated, totally without intention, and totally unbiased. There's no such thing. We all have biases. And I want to, in the new year, no longer restrain my worship in the church, find my community, and then also, I think in a way, bring that to social media. How can I do what I've always had the goal of inspiring others through worship? How can I bring that to social media? This is something that I've been wanting to do. Every time I hear that song by Averly Morillo, it always reminds me of my original intent in worship, which is to raise warriors. And when I hear that and I ponder those words, it makes me want to inspire the soldiers, the men and women of God, to worship the Lord without restraint and without shame or guilt. So anyways, guys, I know this was a very long video, out of the ordinary. If you made it to this point, I want to tell you, I'm always praying for you, and I ask that you pray for me, please. This is a journey that I think is going to benefit us all. And if you're willing to take this journey with me, I would love that, right? If 2 or 3 agree, or touch on anything, it'll be done for us on earth as it is in heaven. That's the verse that I declared for the new year. Not that I declared it, but that I believe God gave me for 2024. And I truly believe that if we take it to this depth, you and I, what do you think God would do for us in the new year? I think like truly we'll come out reborn. We'll come out of the furnace purified as gold undefiled, as silver and platinum, like the most beautiful jewels and gems that we could share with everyone, that we could give our crown freely to all without reservation. I truly believe that 2024 is the year that God will fulfill promises, that the blessing will be for us to have, because we will finally recognize this wasn't about that. It was about God. And the reason we receive it is because of God's grace and love towards us. And so that we may utilize that for his kingdom, that we may lavish in the enjoyment of it, but we will finally have a purpose, recognizing that it was always from him in the first place. And without him, a blessing is not a blessing. It is simply a curse, because enjoyment without God is idolatry. So if you're watching this video and you know me personally, don't be afraid. Don't be scared for me. I'm asking you to come and join me in this journey. Be strong and continue to have faith. Continue to have hope. And remember the faith that you have declared. Who are you doing this for? It's not for me, right? It's not about me, and it's not about you. It's not about us. It's about him. So may we glorify God in everything and all things. I pray that this video blessed you. I gotta go to church. It's Sunday right now. So man, let's go. Y'all know what it is low. See, we on the throne of positivity where nobody shall dethrone us. We out. Peace. God bless you guys. Pray for your boy.